Hello and welcome everyone to another coffee chat. I figured I'll do this for two reasons. To break up the monotony of Final Fantasy 16 videos that are coming out. Yes, I have beaten the game, main storyline. I probably will be doing Final Fantasy mode at some point. Whether or not I record that or not is probably going to go more towards not. Simply because, well, I know how I am with gaming. But also today, as I was at work talking to it with my one coworker who's also a gamer about the whole FTC fight with Microsoft and how funny it will be the day that the FTC loses with the Sony ponies, as they call on the channels, some of the YouTube channels I watch. Well, funny enough, I think those channels are going to have a lot of fun for the next several days, if not weeks, with the FTC being turned down. The Federal Trade Commission has lost its case against Microsoft from acquiring the studio Activision, which does the mainline games of Call of Duty, if you were not aware. Call of Duty is definitely one of the bigger, if not the biggest game series on the consoles, with I think 3 studios under their belt right now, making a new Call of Duty pretty much every year. Kind of like the Madden games or FIFA games, where it's just basically it's the same, almost the same game, only reskinned. And I say that only because I haven't played Call of Duty really majorly since the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I've gotten a couple of the free games, World War II. I think I have Black Ops 3 via the game, not the Game Pass, the PlayStation version of it, the PlayStation Plus deal. So I haven't touched it yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what I got that from. But yeah, so this means that Microsoft can now acquire Activision, which the FTC and CMA, I forget what it's called. Hold on. CMA is UK's Competition and Markets Authority. They've been blocking Microsoft from purchasing Activision because Microsoft's been on a purchasing spree of different studios. The previous big one before this was Bethesda, which is the Elder Scrolls series and Fallout series as well. And those are 2 big names for games. And they purchased them a couple years ago, and making Starfield Xbox exclusive, which, if you remember from my poorly done React video, I am looking forward to Starfield, and I would be saying the same thing if it was on PlayStation as well, so don't worry. I'm not what was the term I've heard? Xbot? I'm not a console fanboy. I don't have a favorite console. I got the Series X, the One, the PS4 and PS5, and the Nintendo Switch. So I don't have a preferred system. If I feel like if I have a bad day, I'll pick a system. But anyway, who cares? So, and whenever Starfield was announced, I noticed a lot of some of the channels I watched were covering the Sony ponies, the people who worship, basically worship the PlayStation. Go on a shitstorm cry fest, basically, just shitting all over Starfield and Bethesda because it was a Microsoft product. So now that Microsoft is able to purchase Activision, they're still working out that deal from what I'm reading in these articles right now. And the FCC can appeal through the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. I don't know what the fuck that is. But basically the FCC can appeal it because the FTC, from what I understood from the case, because I wasn't really watching or into it, therefore I'm not fully knowledgeable about it. Because I'll be honest, a lot of the information I did get through other channels that were covering a little bit better, so the FTC seemed to be more on Sony's side from what I understood from the channels I watched and the information that was being presented. Made it seem like the FTC was more on Sony's side than the consumer side. You want the FTC to be more concerned about how this would affect the market for the consumers more than Sony, because Sony, I mean, let's face it, Sony's probably got more money and more ways to make the money via their own game studios and their TV series going on, their movies. I mean, they still have the rights to Spider-Man, basically, if I remember correctly, which I'm pretty sure I do. Anyway, like, they have Spider-Man, and they can pretty much make whatever Spider-Man movie they want. You know everyone's going to go see a Spider-Man movie, so Sony's pretty set there, and they have HBO paying them for the rights for The Last of Us. So, and HBO, I mean, I'm sure the rights to The Last of Us for that show was not cheap. And then whenever, say, Square Enix with the Avengers game, and I know how much that flopped, but Sony and PlayStation was the only one that got Spider-Man. So pretty much Sony's not hurting for money. I think that a lot of people are upset that Sony didn't think about buying Activision Blizzard for themselves, because also PlayStation's been very I'm gonna mess up the word in here, so don't take me in the wrong way, but Sony has been heavily favored in terms of early release stuff for Call of Duty, because it's always been like, get it first on PlayStation, get this first on PlayStation. So, but from what I also want to understand, Xbox Xbox offered a deal to Sony. Microsoft offered out a deal to Sony to keep Call of Duty multi-platform for 10 additional years, so until, say, like 2033, if they buy Activision this year. So, I mean, that's still 10 years of partial revenue, mind you, but it would have been enough for them to possibly broker out another deal for another 10 years and so on and so forth. But, I mean, let's face it, Sony has got a lot more games on the current gen right now, but they still have a lot of catching up to do for, like, their own PlayStation Now compared to Game Pass, because PlayStation Now has 3 different tiers. Xbox has 1. You buy it, and you get everything. I mean, if you want to get technical, they have 2 different tiers, Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. But really the only difference is Ultimate includes EA and PC stuff. That's really it. I mean, that's the only reason there's a price increase, because you're using it for the PC as well. The PS Now, however, PS Plus, however, there's 3 different tiers, and that seriously limits what you get. You can get the base version, which is like just you can play some games. You get the middle version, you get access to demos and more games, but then you get the best one where you get cloud saves, cloud streaming, access to all the old games, and all. It's just, Sony really fucked up with that one, in my opinion. I think I just rambled on. Yeah, I probably rambled on. But yeah, Sony isn't hurting. Sony, I mean, they're probably going to be affected with Call of Duty possibly becoming an Xbox exclusive. Don't get me wrong there. And a whole bunch of other studios like Spyro, Crash, I mean, possibly Overwatch too. Now I think about it, even though Overwatch is basically dead at this point. So I mean, yeah, no, I can't wait for the pony salt for the YouTube channels I watch to come flowing in. And I can imagine how some of them are going to react. I'm not going to name names only because I don't want to get involved in their drama or their hate, even though no one's going to fucking know who I am. I don't give a shit, actually, but... Oh, yeah, I can see it now. I can hear it now. But we still have to wait. Just because the FTC lost this case, that doesn't mean they can't appeal, and the Ninth Circuit of Appeals, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals can deny the whole thing still. Activision still has to say, yeah, we'll take, well, what was the amount? Almost $70 billion payment to merge or to be bought out. That is a fuck ton of money. Whew. And then the CMA, UK regulators still have to approve it as well. And from what I understood, I thought they did. I thought that was already taken care of, but hey, what do I know? So we'll see. I'm interested to see how far this does go. Like I said, I'm still more excited to see the salt come from the Sony ponies more than anything. Because as long as I get games, I get games. Oh, I think I'm going to cut it here simply because I probably rambled on a little bit longer than I needed to. And yeah. So let me guys know what you think. Also, if I got anything wrong, because again, I was just kind of more of an outsider, just listening to other things. So yeah, feel free to have a conversation with me. Tell me what you think and all that about the whole situation. Thank you guys for listening. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.